Hey everyone, welcome back to Bear's Workshop. In today's video, we were interviewed the other day by Financial Journey and LucidVerse, where we talked about Lucid Motors and a couple other EV manufacturers. If you guys want to see more videos from these guys, take a look at the links below in the description. They've got some really good content on there. It was a good time talking with these guys. It's a pleasure being on the show. It was great to hear other opinions about Lucid and be able to talk to them about it. So I wanted to mention there was a couple lag spikes in the video, but please stick through it as it was worth the watch and contained lots of useful information. So if you did enjoy this video and want to see more content like it, hit that like and subscribe button. So sit back, enjoy the show, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Today to pick Bear's brain, especially with some big catalysts coming forward, more specifically around their earnings. And so we're going to be talking about a lot of deliveries. If you do have questions, don't forget to post them in the comments. We will look at all of that at the end if we haven't addressed it. So I highly suggest you doing that. Also, don't forget to smash a thumbs up and subscribe. Definitely helps pushing out Lucid video and content as best as possible. Again, going back to the building the whole community thing. With that, though, I'm just going to lead it off and forward it to Bear's Workshop. We can do a little bit of introductions in case you guys do not know who he is.
Hey everyone, I'm Bear from Bear's Workshop. We do flyovers of the Nikola site and the Lucid site, both in Arizona. And we've been doing the Nikola site for over a year now, and we've been doing the Lucid site since about May. Lucid site, we don't do direct flyovers because they're not happy with us flying directly over, but we get whatever footage we can from the perimeter without violating their cease and desist order that they sent us quite a while ago. So,
cool, thanks. And what about you, LucidVerse?
Thank you for having me on. I'm grateful to be next to you and Bear's Workshop. I am a Lucid Twitter account that you guys can find me on Twitter, but that's my main thing that I'm doing. I love Lucid Motors. I think they're a great growth company, so yeah.
Cool. Perfect. Thanks for coming on, guys. So, Bear, so we're going to get right to it. I guess we can just start out with something simple. So what out of everything makes you most excited about Lucid?
Well, I like the fact that there's more than one EV company out there. I do think that we need something that has a little bit more luxury than the Model S. I do think that the Lucid Air is more of a competitor against the Mercedes than the Tesla. I think there's plenty of room in this field for more than one EV company. And I would like to see a nice luxury brand that could go up against a Mercedes type. To me, as far as luxury goes, Mercedes is the top of the line without getting into something that's Rolls Royce or something crazy like that. I've had Mercedes before, and they are very nice cars, and they are very comfortable, and they make you feel like you're in something that's different than a Chevy Spark. You know, you definitely notice a difference in it. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of Lucid versus Tesla or Tesla versus Lucid. I think that there's just a lot of space that's available, and it's going to be the legacy car makers that are going to suffer, because as far as I'm concerned, I think a lot of these legacy car makers have been very stagnant over the last 20, 30 years. While there has been some innovation with the improvement in electronics, in technology that's been going on in the last 20, 30 years, it's taking a really long time for cars to catch up. There's just so many systems that I feel are so far behind. And I just think that there's room for a Lucid car company to excel.
Yeah, very well said. And I think I've heard from you, LucidVerse, might as well get your take. So what, in your opinion, what's your best things that you're most excited for? I guess more of a summary of that.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for the technology aspect of Lucid Motors, as well as their renewable energy division that is going to be actually gaining more sales than their auto sales by 2030. So when I look at Lucid Motors or Lucid Group, I actually see a technology company, renewable energy company, and automotives company. And that's what sets it apart from a lot of these other electric vehicle companies and auto legacy makers. So that's why I believe that Lucid and Tesla are closer than a lot of people give them credit for, but I completely agree with Bear. Tesla is more of they are the large electric vehicle leader. They broke all these barriers down for other electric vehicle companies like Lucid to join the space and even be able to perform well. Tesla and Elon Musk have created the infrastructure that we would not have unless we would have had somebody like Elon Musk or Tesla. So I think that Lucid Motors is well positioned to take over a lot of the market space for electric vehicles, but it will take some time. But what I do love is their technology that they have. They could license it out potentially, and they could do some other stuff to actually make them more profitable sooner than expected. What about you, Financial Journey?
I'm pretty sure you guys all know my rants. I'm more so growth. So definitely out of the three of us, we have a very good dynamic, and each of us have different aspects about Lucid that we like. So I'm a big growth fan. I especially hitting those targets of Europe and China. Those ones are massive untapped potential for EVs, whereas the States, it's growing. It's getting more and more momentum, but more so obviously California being the focal point. But it is what it is, right? It's going to grow, and definitely that's an untapped market. So getting right to it, Bear. So as far as 2021, so up to around December 31st, how many vehicles do you feel that the Lucid has delivered or produced? I should start off with.
Yeah, and I'll say that I do believe that they produced over the 500, but that is also going to be whether or not people are going to say the fit and finish issues. If they actually exist, does that count as a completed car? I know Warren Redlick will say that that doesn't count as a completed car. But if they count as a completed car, yes, I think that they've produced over 500, somewhere in that range. It looked like for a while that they were going to produce upwards of 1,000. They were pumping them out, and then it seemed to slow down, and that may have been because they were having the parts issue. If they were having that, there's no confirmation that that actually happened either. You know, things on the internet, you just can't believe everything. As far as deliveries, I'm not going to even go out on a limb. We don't know whether everything's being reported. We don't know if people are out there saying, well, I got my car, but, it's my car. I really don't want to get on social media. Some of these people aren't even on social media. They just want their car, and that's it. Mm-hmm. But we haven't seen any in the wild either that isn't already being tracked. There's questions I think you had brought up about whether or not they're delivering them or storing them off-site somewhere, not actually delivering them. It almost seems that way. Almost. There's just no proof behind it because there's been so many cars taken away. Where are they going? So there is that those questions remain, and I'm not going to guess to say that I don't think that they delivered 500. I will say that, but I don't know where the actual delivery number is at. Just because we don't know where they're going, and I'm not the type of person that will say, oh, well, make one assumption and get a conclusion off of an assumption. So I'm going to say that we don't know where they're going. We're going to find out February 21st.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, that's something that I guess I've been watching a lot of your stuff. I'm sure a lot of us have been, and I even took the time to go through all your posts, and I pieced it together. I believe it was around the tail end of November, and I calculated at that stage about 490, give or take, that vehicles were at least shown that weren't duplicates. So I agree with you. I think as far as production-wise, I think that we definitely did hit it, but I agree with you. There's that big question mark that unless there is that fit and finish problem, that they're possibly storing them off-site, because especially even looking at your more recent one, which was on the 4th, it looks like 91. So hypothetically, it's been having a lot of changes. So they're moving them somewhere, or delivering them. And I agree with you that a lot of people don't have social media. They are more silent types, especially if I bought a car, which I did recently. I'm not posting it everywhere, right? So, yeah, no, that's a lot of good information. As far as about dream editions. Based on even this picture, which your more recent one, it does still show dream editions. Do you still think that they would have produced more than the 520? Because obviously they're only doing 520 dream editions, right?
It is possible that those cars are GTs with the same wheels that are on the Dream editions. We just really can't tell unless they took the covers off of them.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that. I'm not a perfect expert on each model line, but the Grand Touring does have the same wheels available as the Dream edition.
Yeah. LucidVerse, I'll let you, if you don't mind, you can kick off some questions.
Yeah, one of the things is you have the Bears Workshop post up right now, and where it says 11 cars, there's two cars up front that actually have different covers. I actually have heard that Lucid Motors has been producing Grand Tourings for a little while now. Not to say we've finished all the Dream editions, but it does look like we are starting the Grand Tourings in some way, shape, or form. The VIN numbers are already being sent out as well. So that is something that I wanted to let everybody know. My one question is also about the Project Gravity. When do you think the Project Gravity is going to come out? Do you think there is going to be a delay?
I assume you're asking me that.
Yes.
I think
Sorry.
I think the factory is going to be done pretty close to the end of this year. Whether I assume that they're going to come out with some prototypes, some actual prototypes, way before then. Definitely going to want to get some interest going on that. But I think the factory, I know that warehouse is going to be done by the beginning of May, or at least the steel is going to be done. They really did the first two buildings extremely quick, all things considered. And they are moving right along. I've heard from different contractors and different people that Lucid is very much trying to push this construction as fast as they possibly can. That's why they brought in a second steel contractor in order to get that south end started sooner. And excuse me, as soon as they get that warehouse done, that company is going to start putting up the steel for the what's on the screen right now. The yellow box. Well, now it's gone.
Oh, sorry.
But
I have it back
yeah,
up.
yeah, I know there's a delay from what I'm watching on the screen. It's the extension of the stamping building on the what's in our bottom right, which is the northeast corner, and that building is going to be put up if as long as they finish that warehouse building, it will be put up starting May 1st. They'll probably have the steel out by then. And expansion of the stamping building and I think a body and white building is what's all the way over there on the right. So they are moving extremely quickly. They're anticipating having this done, I believe, by the end of the year. For the most part, I mean, I don't know if the production line will be up and running, whether or not the production equipment will all be in there and everything is going to be ready to go. But they're going to get this done, I think, within by the end of the year or early next year. And Project Gravity will follow right after that, because that's what this is all about. This is expanding the Lucid airline and getting the Gravity going. And they've really already started phase 3. So phase 3 is also underway.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting to see all of that, and especially through your posts and your flyovers. Like, it's good to see. So in general, you think the Gravity would be starting at least the layout of the facility would be tail end of 2022, would you say? Which I believe is these purple or blue ones, right?
It's some of it's the purple, yeah, and I'm looking at that diagram you got up. I think is a little bit aged.
Okay.
I think they've made so many changes on it, and I've tried to get new plans and I have not been able to get them. They sent me the previous plans when I had asked for the latest. So still kind of waiting on that. It's a mix. I know that part of it's going to be for air expansion, and the other part's going to be for gravity. I would think that we're going to see the gravity next year in production.
Yeah, which I guess based on what I've read, they're using the same assembly line, so it should be fairly all in one. At least I think. There was a post by Lucid Air that kind of talked on the 2022 so far deliveries thus far. I'm just going to pull that up. What do you feel as far as 2022 deliveries have been done so far?
I think I think they're definitely under the average that they need to be. Over the last couple of weeks, we have not seen a large amount of production. We have seen probably 20 cars a day on average, and I believe they need to get to 50 or 55 cars a day. I understand it's the beginning of the year, and that as they get better and better, that average is going to go up. So I know they've got a goal of 20,000, and I think that by the time December rolls around, they're going to need to, you know, get that average up there higher than 55 because they're going to have some to make up. I I I don't think it's as quick as we'd like to see right now. Now we don't know if it's supply issues or if it's just ramping up production, or maybe they don't have enough people in there yet. Just don't know for sure what the real reason is, and hopefully on February 21st we'll have some more answers, and hopefully we don't hear that their production goal is less.
Yeah, no, that definitely would not help the stock price whatsoever if they cut production. Which, even despite everything, I personally feel that ever since Tesla gave that guidance, it did hurt Lucid stock significantly. So I feel some aspect of us reducing our 2022 expectations is already somewhat factored in. But again, it's always up to interpretation when it comes to that. LucidVerse, I'll let you kick it off with the next one if you don't mind.
Mhm. Yeah, so I wanted to go back to the Grand Tourings a little bit. I know I skipped around about the Project Gravity, but how many Grand Tourings have you actually spotted? I know that you're talking about they could have the caps on, so you don't really know. But have you actually seen any Grand Tourings?
I think we've spotted at least two. Um, I don't I don't dive into it every single visit and look at the wheels on every single car. Uh, in part of it is if you look just looking at that picture, some of the cars aren't facing the direction that we need them to, so we can't get a look at every single one of them. Um, and the ones that are horizontal to us, uh, you've got the ones that right behind it. We can't see those wheels, so we end up getting a very limited view of the rims to see exactly what we're looking at, or to guess what, as far as what we're looking at. But we've noticed, like, I think that's one right there that you've got up on the screen now. In that one particular car, I think is actually something that they're using around the factory. We've seen a white GT that has been in different spots. It's uncovered, and I don't know if you guys saw the video uh, last week, I think it was, or maybe the week before now. Uh, Four cars drove out of the site with covers on them, and that car was following them. We don't know where they were going. We lost track of them at some point because we didn't take off down the road because we tracked them for probably 2 miles, and then we couldn't go that far. We didn't want to
Hmm.
leave our home base right there. So that was a little unusual because where are these cars going? I would still be surprised if they would drive them to deliveries like that. So I don't think that they were being delivered. I don't know if they were just testing something out. Maybe they were testing out the cruise control because that was right around the time when the cruise control was being updated. So I think that car is actually used around the site, and I think the Grand Tourings that they are making also, I've been told on Twitter that they're using those up at the studios for test drives. But we're also hearing that people are getting their VIN numbers So that means that the Grand Touring's got to be coming soon.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's exciting to see though, and I know a lot of people. I know this picture out of everything, it did stand out because this was I think caused so much hype because especially like the assumption was that we have some GTs now that obviously the Dream editions are done, right? And this was at the tail end, I believe, when I think this was posted the 29th, December 29th. So I know there was a lot of kind of hype when it came to this.
Yes.
Obviously, you can tell a lot of people are grasping at a lot of straws here, and especially with a brand new company, a lot of people are wanting to know about deliveries, and especially based on what people are saying and now the consensus, it does look like they are possibly missing, and especially what Ford and Tesla have said about their 2022 expectations. I guess it's fair to assume that, and especially from what you even mentioned as well, 2022 guidance might be interesting to hear based on their upcoming earnings. But so as far as that, so you kind of talked on about Dream Editions and stuff like that. Based on everything, especially for the 2022 deliveries, is there something that you've heard based on that as far as because you said I think you're kind of in talks with the construction crew, is there some aspect that would help them dramatically increase? So going back to this, I know it's a little bit delayed, but under phase 2 that they're doing right now, is there any aspects here that would help them produce more vehicles? Might kick in maybe Q2 or Q3 of 2022 that would help them produce more vehicles, would you say?
I haven't heard anything along that lines. The construction guys aren't gonna know anything, and the people that work in Lucid, and this is kind of a feeling that I've gotten, and kind of it's been said kind of indirectly, is that each group is, unless you're in upper management, each group is kept in kind of like their own silo, and they don't really have an idea of what's going on in other groups. The paint shop guys aren't going to know much about the interior guys, and the interior guys aren't going to know much about the drivetrain guys, and they're not going to know much about the battery guys, and so forth. Spoke to someone yesterday who's met them on the street, and they told me that their mother worked at the Lucid site, and they are pretty much in their own areas. They don't really talk to people outside of their areas. They're not allowed to, as far as Lucid stuff. So with their non-disclosures that they've signed, and just what is allowed and what isn't, they go in. If they're producing seats, they're going to produce their seats. If they're working on drivetrain, they're going to do what the drivetrain stuff. They're just not going to know what's going on in different groups. Lucid is a very secretive company. For good or bad, whatever you think about that, it makes it very hard to find out information. And when you do find out information, those people are very nervous about it because they know that they're the only group that knows that. So if you find out something from the drivetrain group, they're going to know that it came from that group. It's just not common knowledge, except for that one strange landscaper that we met. I don't know if you guys saw that interview, which was crazy. He seemed to know everything about the company. He thought they were making hydrogen bombs in there. But it doesn't seem like you've seen that interview. You should go back. I think it was around August. We met a landscaper who was working on the site, and it was the last day of his employment there. Very funny interview. But everything that he said was probably not true, but still it was funny. So yeah, they're very compartmentalized and just not able to get a lot of good information. And I've had numerous people talk to me, but they give me what they feel comfortable with, and I don't push them because I'm not trying to get anybody get fired or get in any trouble. So.
That's fair. And I think we do usually have a couple Lucid employees or future employees that are always in the chat. So definitely hats off to you guys. Thanks for all your work. Same with you, both of you, Bears Workshop, LucidVerse. Again, it's good community of people going on here, and a lot of us are very excited about the vehicles and what Lucid can actually do for technology and growth and everything like that. But I'll kick it off to LucidVerse, if you don't mind.
Mhm. Yeah, so my next question for Bear, I guess, would be talking about hydrogen fuel cells. I know that, and electric vehicles, I see that you go to Nikola Motors as well for your drone footage. Do you think that hydrogen fuel cells are going to be in the near-term future for the auto market?
I don't think that there necessarily is a place for them in the auto market. I do believe that there is a place for them in long haul trucking. I believe that there could be a place for them in VTOL and um, possibly airplanes also. Uh, well, VTOL is an airplane, but that and with airplanes. I think that at some point in the future, using hydrogen as opposed to uh, jet fuel, um, maybe something that actually could work out well because there's so much less weight with hydrogen than there is with fuel or batteries. And when I say fuel, I mean jet fuel. That it could change the whole outlook of aerospace. So I think that there's places for it. I don't think that it necessarily is going to work in a car unless they can get the price down immensely. But I think the battery electric is just going to work out so well, especially with the improvements that we have on batteries going forward in the future, whether it's from the 4680s from Tesla or whether it's from a solid state battery from, like, say, QuantumScape or something. So the market might be better for them for more heavy duty industry because I could see them loading up a huge tractor or something and filling that using hydrogen and something like that for earth moving machinery, planes, trains. I think trains would be a good place for them also in combination with electric because trains run on electric right now. Just they use a diesel generator, so it's not that much of a stretch. If we want to stop polluting, that's one way to do it. So
Yeah, thank you for your response. I completely agree that we need to definitely go into the more renewable energy industries in the future. And with that said, do you see Nikola Motors having a bright future in both the hydrogen fuel cells industry? I know Plug Power is also in there too. What would be your hydrogen fuel cell play if you were investing in one of these companies?
I'm invested right now a lot in Nikola. The price went down to levels that I didn't think that it should be. So I have dumped quite a bit into Nikola right now. Um, I see what they're producing. I know that they have a very poor history as far as what happened with Trevor Milton. I do believe that they put that behind them, and I do see them producing these trucks. Their battery electric trucks are doing what they're supposed to do. Uh, are they trying to replace Tesla semi? No, but Tesla's not as focused on the semi right now as they want it to be. They've got other priorities. So there's an opportunity for them now to definitely throw in these battery electric vehicles, put them out there, put them in places that work, continue to design their hydrogen trucks, which are moving along very well. Being that they're not supposed to be producing them until next year, they've had alphas that they're delivering to companies, to their customers, and they're already testing them out in the field. So I think their alphas are ahead of schedule, though I don't think they're going to say that ever, just because they've learned a lesson about speaking too much, and I don't think they're going to do that again. So they're going to keep working on it. Sandy Monroe, who's very well respected in the auto manufacturing world, he doesn't believe that battery electric is the way to go for long haul. So it's Nikola's putting them in a position where they can do the short haul and the long haul, and they're working on the infrastructure with many other companies trying to get something going for hydrogen. And they've got I think it's TC Energy. They're based out of Canada. They were the ones that were going to put in the Keystone pipeline that was canceled. And their background is of they are a very conservative company where they don't like to take risks. And for them to sign on with Nikola was surprising, but also it's a good thing. So they could be a company that puts out hydrogen pipelines for the shipment of it, or they could just stick with building hydrogen electrolyzers and putting them in place to make charging stations in various places. But that's what our future is going to be. It's either going to be probably a combination of hydrogen and electric.
I see that. Yeah. So you mentioned that you are a shareholder of Nikola.
Yes,
Do you own Lucid?
I do own a couple hundred shares of Lucid, probably in the $400 or $500 range. And Nikola, I'm just heavy right now, and I'm probably looking to trade it once it gets up to a certain price point again.
Okay.
And I might flip that and put that into Lucid depending on where that price is.
Okay.
So hopefully I
More,
don't make any mistakes.
more so from, I guess, the Lucid standpoint. If you were to buy more, hypothetically, this is more, I guess, for a price range in your own personal opinion, but if you were to ever buy more or be tempted to just be like, it's way too low right now, at what price point would you do that at?
If I had extra cash, I'd be buying some Lucid now. I think the price point is good. I am not a financial advisor. Got to throw that out there. I'm typically the guy that you go find out where not to buy and where not to sell, because I get pretty unlucky on that a lot, except with Rivian though. But the price is decent where it is right now, and they've got so much potential, and that's what market projections are right now. They're based on where you think this company is going to be in 5 years or 10 years. And that's why Tesla is so high. That's why Lucid is so high. That's why Rivian came out so high. But it was too high for the market, and it quickly pulled back.
Yeah. Pretty aggressively, too.
Yes.
So with that said, though, actually, I did have a question. I feel like it kind of just slipped my mind. Here, LucidVerse, I'll let you kick in.
All right. So, what are your top holdings right now?
Right now, it's Nikola is my top holding.
Okay. I was in Nikola when they were VTIQ, Vector Acquisitions, but I did fortunately sell pretty high up there, and then obviously Trevor Milton did that, which GM didn't even see coming because they obviously had a deal with them too for 11% of the company. But I do actually think that Nikola Motors is going to be one of those investments that if investors make right now, they are actually buying an undervalued company like you were talking about. I'm not a financial advisor either, but there are some opportunities right now in the market to buy these electric vehicle companies as well as renewable energy companies. In my opinion, it is the future of where we're heading. So my next question is, what do you think the world is going to look like in 5 years regarding renewable energies?
I think a lot of things are obviously going to be changing. I think the whole concept of EVs right now is really from last year to right now is really starting to catch on to mainstream. I do think that there's a lot of negative media out for EVs because they're all about clickbait and trying to get people to view their website and get those views, and they're just going to keep throwing that out there. But I think people are seeing through that. The more and more cars like the Teslas and the Lucids that they see out there, the more likely people are going to start questioning, why do they constantly see a story about a Tesla on fire when Teslas don't catch on fire anywhere near an ICE vehicle or even a hybrid. Hybrids are actually catching on fire more than ICE vehicles. So I think people are starting to see through that, and they're really starting to look at it. The more people that I talk to, there are people that I never would have done it. I never would have looked at an EV. Now we're looking at an EV. I still know some people that just are going to be completely anti-EV. But I do think that there is a lot of FUD put out there by all sorts of people, whether it's a Tesla fanboy hating on a Lucid fanboy. They're trying to protect their ground, but that's different from what we see in the mainstream media, with them putting out constant articles about problems. Even with I'm going to throw these up. The recall. Tesla did not have a recall. They did an over-the-air update.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard you say it on LucidVerse, and I'm just going to correct you politely. I'm not trying to give you a hard time. You said Tesla had a recall on some software, and then you're talking about Lucid having an over-the-air update to fix their cruise control. But when it comes down to it, they're both just over-the-air updates. And the mainstream media likes to put out Tesla had a recall. 800,000 cars having a recall. It's not a recall. It's an over-the-air update. A recall is where you have to bring your car in to get a safety thing fixed because there's something physically wrong with it. It's an over-the-air update. It's fixed overnight. It's not a big deal. But it's clickbait. And these companies want you to click on their page and see it. Lucid Air is going to have them. They're going to come up. Every company has recalls, and every company from the smallest to the biggest. And sometimes they're real serious issues. A lot of times they're not. Like rolling through a stop sign, that was intentionally done. Was it right? Probably not a good idea, because you can still get a ticket for it. But that's what it is. But it was fixed overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucid's going to have the same issues come up like this, and they're going to get fixed overnight. And recall just sounds like it's fear. They want to put fear into people. Oh my God, what's going on with this car? So I think companies like Tesla and Lucid are always going to have to fight that. Lucid's probably going to be in a little bit better shape, because now I see that they're advertising very, very heavily. I think mainstream media doesn't like Tesla because they do not advertise. So that's just a little bit of a rant.
I do have one quick question. So you might have mentioned this, but out of all your flybys and flyovers and everything like that, what was the weirdest thing that you've ever seen that might allude to something that's not been fully disclosed by Lucid, such as possibly obviously the biggest consensus would be like an Apple vehicle, or is there like another, like a sports car roadster? Is there anything that you've ever seen to give hints about anything like that? Again, not officially, because I don't want you to.
Yeah.
But is there anything just off?
There's really nothing officially or unofficially that we've seen. We don't have any agreements to Lucid to protect their IP. We had offered it to them, but they weren't interested. But we haven't seen anything that would make them nervous about what we're filming. So, unfortunately, no scoops there.
Fair enough. I know a lot of people are really looking forward to that and trying to piece together some Easter eggs and all that stuff. So, if you were to have, let's say, teach something, or if you want to let all Lucid investors know about one aspect, whether it be investing or anything about Lucid, what would you like to tell the Lucid community?
On the negative side, that they're very tight-lipped, and the whole situation that we had with flying over their site, it left a bad taste in my mouth, because what they did was just pure bullying tactics. They know that they have nothing legal to stand on as far as us flying over the site. Based on federal and state laws, they don't have a thing. We've checked with lawyers. We've checked with the FAA. And the FAA has come back to us and said, no, you're legal to fly. You can do whatever you want as long as you don't break any of these laws. Okay, thank you, FAA, but we still have the cease and desist. So if we were to do it, we would end up in court, and it's basically a slap lawsuit where it's a lawsuit created by someone just to keep them from doing something, regardless of whether what they're doing is legal or not. It's to make them have to pay money to a lawyer. And that's all that they're doing. And that is basically bullying. And just not a fan of that. So I did not like to see that. We tried every possible way to work with them. We had an agreement on the table from their lawyers, but it was so horrible. That left a bad taste in my mouth, because if we had signed the contract and we brought it to a lawyer, and the lawyer said, well, if you sign this contract, they will then be legally allowed to keep you from flying over the site. So they were hoping that we were dumb enough to sign it, because then it gave them permission to deny us, legal permission to deny us. So we didn't sign it, and we haven't had much communication. We haven't had any communication in several months. So that was a thing that I did not like. They don't have the same type of culture that Tesla has, where they're open and they say, yeah, we want to share. We want everyone to see this. We were just trying to, besides build excitement, but we wanted the investors to be able to see what's going on. People are all over the world. They don't have the ability to drive 40 miles, go to a site, look at it, and go, okay, this is what's going on. So we're basically the eyes and ears, and at least the eyes, and trying to see what's going on and share it with everybody. But they kind of strong-armed us on that and did not like that. So that was not something that I enjoyed. As far as the other aspects, I love the fact that they're a technology growth company and they've got a good product and they're going to sell them. Nervous about ramping up, but I'd be nervous about any company ramping up for the first time. So.
Yeah, very well said. And yeah, it's interesting. And yeah, you're right. It would most likely put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, especially in general. You're just trying to give them, for the most part, pretty good advertising and good momentum. Especially in that regard, I think they've definitely been tight-lipped throughout the whole time period. I don't think they've ever disclosed anything about how much they've delivered or anything like that. So I don't know. Maybe that's just their management style. LucidVerse, I'll let you kick it off if you have any further questions, or if anyone also has any questions, make sure you guys are posting them as well.
Yeah, so I did an article and then a corresponding video and a couple of them with Financial Journey about potentially an Apple car, and then it kind of blew up all over about everybody asking if this is an actual thing that's going to happen. Do you think that Lucid Motors will potentially license out their battery technology to, say, someone like Apple in the future?
I think the potential is always going to be there, but right now I don't see any evidence that they are going to have any type of relationship with Apple. I know that it would be nice. It would be great for the stock price, and I know LucidVerse, you'd like to see it. I've read your articles and I've seen your comments, but I try and be as unbiased as I can when I look at things, and I just don't see any evidence pointing to that fact right now. I could be 100% wrong, and they could announce tomorrow that that's going to happen, but right now I'm just not seeing any real evidence that that shows me that. I see that there are advantages for both companies. Lucid is going to get some software help. Apple's going to get some help with the drivetrain. I don't know how far behind they really are on, let's say, batteries. I know that it's a different batteries, but Apple has a lot of battery engineers. Everything that they sell has a battery in it. So they do have some experience there. I know it's not the same thing, but it's a starting ground to scale up from there. And we also don't know how long that they've been working on this stuff. So if Apple had a battery that could change the world, they would have already come out with it now because they would have put it in every one of their products. So maybe they do need some help. So there's definitely things that both sides can gain. Um, but Apple hasn't gotten too far talking to numerous other companies. Hyundai and Kia, I think they went through. They talked to Volkswagen. Um, and they haven't seemed to have made much progress that we can hear about. So,
Very true.
Yeah, there's one quick question about Tesla. So you kind of mentioned that you're a tentative shareholder of Lucid. Do you own Tesla as well?
yes, I do. And I have much fewer shares, but they're also probably my second largest holding right now because of the price of Tesla.
Good to know. Sorry if I cut you off, LucidVerse.
Oh, no, no, no. Going back to the Tesla share thing, I own a Model 3. I've been very open about that. And it was the first and only car I've ever purchased. But Tesla also was one of my earliest investments that I had ever made money on. That was a lot more than I ever had received. And I do see a lot of similarities with because they're both a technology company. I think that they can knock off some of these auto legacy makers trying to jump in to the EV space. Obviously, the auto legacy makers are going to. But if you can pick one auto legacy maker like GM, Ford, or somebody else, who do you think has the best chance to overtake Tesla? Or not overtake, just take a lot of the market share away from them?
Well, first I got to say this: as far as Lucid's delivery numbers are going to be for quarter one or quarter four, they are going to be more than GM's were. I've got to say that because GM, you guys know how much GM delivered?
Hmm.
26.
It was bad, yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. So Lucid's going to definitely beat out GM. So they're ahead of them already. Um, I don't. Who's going to beat out Tesla? Um, if anyone's going to beat them out, it's a long way off. GM is not even living on the same planet as far as this goes. They recently said that they are going to surpass Tesla in 2025, but they will be producing 1 million EVs or producing and delivering 1 million EVs by 2025. I don't think that they're even aware that Tesla is going to produce and delivered 940,000 EVs last year. They're going to do
Yeah.
they're going to do at least 1.4 million this year, and they're stating that they're going to get to 1 million by 2025 and beat Tesla. There's some strange things going on out there with GM. They should have been aware of what was going on at Nikola before they got into a deal with them. They're making claims about how they're going to beat Tesla when they just produced 26 cars in 3 months that were EVs. They're way behind. And there's just a lot of things going on in politics right now where uh, you've got the administration is not recognizing Tesla because they're not a union factory. And they're calling GM the number one EV manufacturer in the country and at 26. So when is any company going to beat Tesla? Um, I'm not sure that that's going to happen for a long time. And it's not uncommon for vehicle manufacturers to hold the title as the number one in a category for a long time. Uh,
Hmm.
the Ford F-Series truck has been the number one truck for, God, I don't know, 30, 40 years. It's one of those things that's going to, they could be number one in it for quite a long time. And until all the other companies are done with ICE vehicles and they're solely focused on EV, uh, maybe that's when it happens. But right now, Tesla's going to have a large share of the market, a vast majority of the share for a while. And Lucid doesn't even make any claims to dethrone Tesla. They're talking 500,000 cars. Was it 2025 or was it 2030? I don't remember off the top of my head.
I think 2030.
Yeah, 2030. So we're talking 8 years down the road. They're saying they're gonna be making 500,000 cars a year. Well, that's not going to come close to Tesla. Ford, possibly. Ford has to ramp up their battery production just like every other car manufacturer. And Tesla's way ahead of the game because they've been planning on this for years on how to keep doubling their production. They want to do 50% more in production every year until 2030. And that's going to put them around 20 million cars.
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
we've brought up quite a lot in other live streams that Lucid or Tesla, hands down, is probably going to be number one for quite some time. So I definitely agree with you. But I think they've laid the foundation for a lot of EVs to, on their growth aspect, and especially in the early years, to be magnified versus what Tesla struggled, obviously, at the beginning stages. So I think on a growth aspect, this is why a lot of people, I think, are really liking Lucid, because they have a lot of good things behind them, and especially with like Tesla doing all the hard work to kind of lay the foundation for EVs, Lucid will have to do less effort to get to where, like, as far as on a ratio. There was one question, I guess, both to Bear and to LucidVerse, as far as 2021 Q4 like earnings. Do you think that's going to be, we're going to miss? Do you think we're going to that's going to be successful for investors, or do you think it's going to be a little bit of an opportunity to short the stock?
I think that Lucid Motors right now is already on a downtrend. We've seen the stock get hard really very recently lately. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that this would be another good shorting opportunity if Lucid doesn't maintain their guidance for 2022 and does miss. But I think with the part issues that are going on right now, that might be settled up, like settled around middle of whenever we figure it out in 2022. So the guidance for the 20,000 vehicles probably will be maintained until there's more information, and that could actually increase the stock price a little bit, even if we do miss. Obviously, that's all speculation, and I'm not a financial advisor. But if we do get any information right now that the PIF didn't sell on the 13F that we're going to be getting pretty soon, maybe in a week or two, and we do get a good guidance and some other surprises, maybe we maintain our position right now a little under 30, over 25, and we just continue for institutions to load up because that is what they're doing. Bear, what do you think?
I agree. But I think if it's possible that there is a miss just because there's a little bit less on earnings, because I think a lack of delivered cars, which it appears that way, but we'll find out in a couple of week and a half. But if there is a miss, I'm not worried about the short term. You're scaling up your first couple of months of producing and delivering cars. Lots of places for logistic errors to happen, and missing one car is $169,000 sale, and you just don't have a large ratio of cars. You don't have 100,000 cars, and something got messed up on 1% is going to make not as much of a difference as it will when you're missing on 1% of your deliveries on 100 cars. So I just think what's going to matter is the ramping up of production over quarter one through quarter three to see if they're going to make that 20,000 production goal. And I'm not going to worry if the stock goes down because it's a miss, it's a buy, which is not financial advice, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just take that as like, okay, you're going to get scared short term. Buy. See you later. I'll buy your stock from you, because that's all it's going to come down to. It's short term. If you think Lucid is going to survive and produce all these cars, then jump on any dips in the market.
So do you think Lucid is undervalued at this price point?
Just based on what the future holds for them, I think that they're undervalued. It's not based on what earnings are going to be coming out for quarter four. It's based on long term. I think they're undervalued.
I completely agree.
So, recent updates about the Dream Drive. Do you have any thoughts on the Dream Drive in particular, Bear?
I wish they had it all squared away before they put the cars out. And maybe that's where they need some software help, maybe from a company like Apple. That's I know it's late in the game for them to have gotten that type of help, but it's disappointing because it gives people like Warren the opportunity to go, look, look, look. And it's like, come on, Warren, you know Tesla was sending out cars without USB ports just a couple months ago. There's issues that have come up. They will come up. It happens to every manufacturer, especially now. Let's not give them a pedestal to stand on. So,
And that's a good point about Warren. Anything negative about Lucid, he is going to use against Lucid. Me and him are beefing right now, and he texted me a massive essay last night, as he has been doing for I don't know why, but he is not somebody that really understands Lucid's technology potential. He is kind of psycho if about investing and stuff like that. Tesla's obviously a great company, so he's picked a good one, but he doesn't understand what Lucid is or anything like that.
I disagree with you. I think he completely understands. And he is just such a Tesla fanboy. He wants to see Tesla succeed at all costs. And it's that and a combination of he wants to just put out more videos. So, and garner more attention. I mean, we all do. We all want to put out more videos, but some people want to put out videos no matter what's behind it or not. I just think that's his motivation. Is he's a diehard Tesla fanboy, and he'll say that he's not, but he clearly is. He doesn't give much credit to anything that's not Tesla, and he wants to put out videos, and I think that's where he's coming from. And it's more of a fear of Lucid doing something that Tesla can't do, like 500 miles of range. So.
That's a great point. I didn't really see it like that at all. You think that Warren understands that Lucid could take some of Tesla's market share? I'm not ever saying anymore that Lucid is going to dethrone Tesla or anything like that. Just you think Warren is a little worried about Lucid's prospects?
I don't think he's afraid that they're going to take much of the market share, and I'm not. I don't have a fear of that. I don't think Lucid's main market is Tesla owners. They may put it out there, but the people who are going to buy the Lucids are people who've already had Teslas, and they want to try something different. There are plenty of people who just buy a different type of car every time, and now they've got something different to try. They probably weren't going to retain them as a new Tesla Model S owner to begin with, because these are people who want to go in a different direction because they do that. I don't think Lucid is going to ever take a chunk out of Tesla's market share where Tesla's like, oh my God, what are we going to do about Lucid? I think what he's afraid of is just the fact that they've taken a trophy away. They've taken away the 500-mile range. And this is what he was afraid of, because that's what Lucid was saying that they were going to do. And he probably wouldn't admit that. I don't really think there's anything wrong with being a fanboy, but you got to be a little bit open-minded. I mean, I love my Tesla. My wife's got a Tesla. I've got a Cybertruck on order. We've got another Model 3 on order. And I don't have any plans to buy a Lucid anytime soon. But that doesn't mean I'm going to sit there and hate on Lucid and not recognize when there is a fault in something that is Tesla. There's no way to improve upon something. I think competition is great because I think it's going to bring us longer range Teslas, because now Lucid has the throne for right now. So granted, it's at a price point that's much higher than, say, a Model Y, but I think the Model Ys with the 4680s, either they're going to go down in price real soon because of the 4680s, or we're going to have a much longer range Model Y. And that's what competition will get you. And that's what I want to see.
That's very well said, actually, and good mentality to have, especially coming from an investor standpoint. Is I guess you should never really be focused and love only one stock. You should always have an open mind and think about everything on an equal playing field. Because I agree with you, Tesla definitely is a very good company. Obviously, they are at the market cap they are for a reason, and I don't think that they're going anywhere anytime soon. And they do have fairly good vehicles, but and I agree with you as well about the Lucid price point, 100%. It's not for everyone right now, so hopefully they do have that $25,000 vehicle coming fairly soon, and they do keep in line with that 4 years. Do you have any thoughts on that $25,000 vehicle? If they can actually do that, if what that might
For
look like?
for Lucid or for Tesla?
Well, I think Tesla did scrap that, right?
They didn't scrap it. They just delayed it because
Delayed it, yeah.
it's too much on their plate right now. And I think Lucid is going to find out that they have too much on their plate. If they may have a couple people working on it, but they've got to work on the gravity. They've got a factory to finish building in Casa Grande, and then they've got a factory that they're going to have to put up in Saudi Arabia. So they're going to be stretched thin. They're going to have to be hiring a lot of people, and all of this takes resources. I think the money is the only thing that they're not having a shortage of right now.
Yeah.
They've got some good backing, but you need the brain power, you need the manpower, you need the supplies and the materials. And if they're saying that they're going to have a $25,000 car in 3 years, is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I believe they said 4 years, most likely.
Yeah. I would hope that. Well, it would be nice to see it. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see these $25,000 EVs come out, but I think that they have to stay focused on what they're doing right now. They have to ramp up the airs, and then get the gravity and get that start producing that, and slowly scale up your $25,000 car to a point where you're ready to put something out there. But 3 years seems like a very short amount of time.
Yeah. And it looks like even Jack, a lot of people do agree that gravity is more important right now, which out of anything, I would be buying a gravity, definitely. I like that. It meets my kind of lifestyle. Versus I think the 25,000 would hit more the general population and just get its name out there. But LucidVerse, I'll let you kick it off if you have anything else.
I just wanted to also talk about this. Right now, you have the Lucid CEO sees 25K. In that interview, he specifically stated that the electric vehicle race is a technology race where Lucid and Tesla are at the top of that pedestal right now. If you take that into account, where do you see Lucid Motors and competing in the electric vehicle race in, say, 5 to 10 years?
I think they're going to be well in the middle of it. I think in 10 years, we're going to see a number of the legacy automakers out of business. You can make guesses at which ones. Some of them are in crazy amounts of debt, but there's others that just don't seem to really have a plan right now. And like Nissan started off strong with a Nissan Leaf, so many years ago, and now where are they at? Stellantis, not sure what they're doing. They're so far behind. And companies like Stellantis are going to go back to their governments and say, bail us out. We're too big to fail. And they're going to get a reboot, which I don't see as being right. But I definitely see Lucid being in the thick of things. I think Rivian should be able to turn themselves around. They've gotten a little bit off the rails lately. They had a fire recently, yesterday or the day before. One of their trucks caught on fire. And that's not going to be good. So I definitely think Lucid's on the right track. My main thing for them right now is ramp up production. I just want to see the production ramp up. The numbers that come out on the 21st will be interesting, but it's just a matter of being able to ramp up and get your supplies. So.
Very well said. And I didn't see anything about that on the Rivian Fire. That's very interesting. I'm a Rivian investor, and I actually think that they're way undervalued at this price point as well. Amazon continues to buy, but they have just been beaten down. But a Fire this early, that is concerning. I don't know if they've actually been selling or delivering vehicles to their customers yet. I would have to check that out. If you know that,
They're
please let
doing
me know.
doing about 200 deliveries a week, or production is about 200 a week. So that's what we've heard.
Okay. Because I heard they were doing a lot for their internal employees. They were delivering them. But when I see them on the road, I not here, but on pictures and online, I think that they're beautiful vehicles, and they do have a lot of growth ahead of them with the Amazon vans. But I think that Lucid, Tesla, and Rivian are going to be at the top of the EV pedestal in 5 to 10 years. Uh, it's going to be hard for an auto legacy maker to take that technology and implement it unless they do buy out one of these EV startups that is already failing. We've seen Lordstown Motors not do so well. Workhorse, an EV company, didn't get the USPS contract, and they've been burning cash. Rivian's been burning about 1 billion per quarter. So the EV market is definitely going to be who has the most cash right now. And an auto legacy maker could buy one of these EV companies, EV startups or something like that. But Tesla has the stronghold on this race very, very, very tightly. It's going to be very interesting to see if anybody could take their market share. I mean, everybody that I talk to, even Lucid fans, have Teslas. I have a Tesla, and I'm LucidVerse. So it's like very, very hard to overtake the massive leader that's delivering 300,000 vehicles per quarter when Lucid wants to do that in 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just gonna pull up some of the delivery numbers. Yeah, no, it's going to be a while for Lucid to actually reach these numbers. Possibly. Hopefully, there's a lot of expansion that it hasn't really been disclosed yet. Especially, Bear, did you hear that they were hiring in Taiwan?
No, I don't have my applications out in Taiwan, so I didn't hear anything on it.
No, I guess it was just floating around on Twitter, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I'm just being snarky.
What do you think? So, out of all of Lucid's growth, where do you think is the most potential? Do you think it's more locally in the States? Do you think that whole EV is going to ramp up? Or do you think, because I think Tesla is also focusing more so on Europe as well, do you think that's the place to go? What do you think about growth?
I think they need to spread that out. I don't think staying focused on one place is a good idea, especially if you have a problem in an economy in one place. Suppose we have a problem with our housing market because it's kind of bubblicious, and it's going to have a bigger effect over here if something crashes in relation to that than it would in Europe or in China. So you got to spread yourself out to whoever wants it. I understand there's some issues with getting support for a car in China, so you want to make sure that you can sell enough cars in China to justify having someone have to do repairs and things like that. But you definitely want to get into those major markets. You want to get into China, and you want to get into Europe, and you want to spread the awareness of your car and make it more popular. You don't want to just be stuck in the United States, and if something happens here, you're done.
Yep, very well said. LucidVerse or anyone out there, did you guys have any comments, questions? And on a side note, Make sure in the description below I have all of Bear's and also LucidVerse's contact information, so their Twitter, Discords, and also YouTube channels. Make sure you guys show some love and support, especially they are a very big part of the Lucid community and EVs in general. So guys, make sure you support and follow them on Twitter and subscribe. They would greatly appreciate that. And also I believe Bear's Workshop has a very good Patreon as well, so make sure you do show your love and support that way as well.
That would be very much appreciated.
I definitely agree.
But back to you, I guess, LucidVerse. Sorry.
So my next question is, if you were here to tell the audience about some of the books that really impacted your life and how, like, a moment in your life that you realized that you wanted to do what you want to do today, what would that be?
Jeez. Well, you got me on that one. Now, my life and my career path has been forever changing for a long time. It spans a wide range of different things. So I couldn't tell you what has ever made me want to do what I'm doing now. Not sure if I'll be doing this in 5 years, but hopefully I'll be retired on the coast of Costa Rica or something. I don't know. So
That's fun.
Okay, so doesn't look like LucidVerse. Did you have anything further that you'd like to? We kind of touched on everything I wanted to get out at least, or kind of get some clarification or opinions on.
What was your first car?
was my first car?
Yeah,
1969 Camaro.
very cool.
6-cylinder, base car, pulled the engine out, stuck in a V8, and drove it around for quite a few years. Kept that car even after I bought a couple other cars, and that one stuck with me for a while.
Wow. You're like the coolest guy on YouTube. It's awesome.
Love it. And obviously yours, Bear. LucidVerse was a Tesla, right?
Yeah, mine was Tesla. Mine is a Tesla. I don't have any actual reason to trade it in. I don't pay anything in oil or gas. Or, no, I don't pay anything in electric because you just plug it in at home, and I have had zero maintenance. It's honestly the perfect car, but that's why it brought me to Lucid, because of the investing standpoint on it. And then my Twitter account obviously blew up a little bit, but I was an early investor in Tesla, and I saw a lot of similarities. Obviously, Tesla is Elon Musk, and a lot more going for them right now with Solar City and some of their other acquisitions. But Lucid Motors does have the opportunity to garner some really great return on investment in the next couple of years, so that's what brought me there. But Tesla is the contributor of why I wanted an electric vehicle. Elon Musk made them very cool. The over-the-air updates are just absolutely unreal when you think about your vehicle improving as you use it. So it was definitely something that I would buy again, and I don't have any regrets on it. And my value of my vehicle is actually $2,000 less than what I paid for it, which is incredible if you think about it. So it just increases in value.
That's pretty interesting.
Like, yeah, I could sell it on Carvana right now, and they would offer me. Well, I did the offering because I wanted to see. I was interested, and it was $2,000 less than I paid for it with the tax.
Yeah, both of our Teslas are worth more now than when we bought it. And my wife's put 30,000 miles on her car, and it's now worth more than when we bought it.
It's so cool. It's an unbelievable investment. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be that way, so don't get used to it. I'll tell you that.
All right.
Okay, so I appreciate you guys joining on, both Bear's Workshop, LucidVerse. Again, don't forget to smash the thumbs up, subscribe to all of our channels. A lot of good Lucid content, as well as other growth stocks, EVs, and things like that. But like I said, I appreciate you guys joining on. Any final things that you'd like to say?
LucidVerse, you can go first.
It was great to finally meet Bear's Workshop. I'm a huge fan. I hope I wasn't fanboying too much. I wanted to try to ask as many questions as my audience on Twitter and my groups wanted to know about at Bear's Workshop, but it just reiterated everything we already do. So thank you for spending the time with me and Financial Journey. It was a pleasure.
All right. Well, I want to say thanks for having me on, both of you guys. I'll be more than happy to come on again in the future. Enjoyed meeting you both. So I thank you. Appreciate it. If everyone can, if they haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate that. Just need more and more support to help offset the costs on doing these flyovers.
Yeah, definitely. So with all that, guys, appreciate you guys watching, and make sure you guys subscribe like everyone said. But with that, let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.
All right. Sounds good to me.